like I mentioned earlier, a watt is a watt and a calorie is a calorie. How many times do I have to say this to you guys? Well, what's going on today, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit like and subscribe in order to promote the channel, promote our content, and support us at the same time. Anyways, guys, today I'm coming at you with another running video. Today, I want to introduce a new concept to how you measure
your running ability.
And that is measuring your running ability with power meters. Using power, seeing how much power you can put out in order
to decipher your fitness level.
I've taken a new approach in the way I am training and figuring out how to improve my fitness when it comes to running. Starting out as a runner, I used to measure my ability to run with pace, how fast I could run and how fast I could hold that pace for. That was the best way to measure if I was faster than somebody else. Later on, as I did more research about how you improve your endurance, I discovered heart rate was the better way to train. You want to keep your heart rate under you want to keep your heart rate under a ventilatory threshold heart rate 80% of the time when you're out there running. And the other 20% of the time needs to be a mix of moderate and high heart rates. Maybe 5% of your training would be a max heart rate workout, and then another 10 to 15% would be any heart rate that goes over your ventilatory threshold. If you want to know what your ventilatory threshold is, I do have other videos that describe it. I won't go into it into this video, but that is how I have been training up until this point. Lately though, as I have decided to try to take a new approach to running, preparing for Ironman La Quinta, California, December 5th, which is the race for our St. Jude Cancer Research fundraiser. And if you guys want to support the cause, I will have a link in the description down below. We have already met our fundraising goal. However though, why not go above and beyond? So if you guys want to donate to St. Jude, the link in the description will be down below. But anyways, following up on this training for La Quinta, California, I have discovered that there is a newer approach to running, which is training with power. And how do you train with power? Well, exactly the same way you would train with power if you were riding a bike. Getting some kind of measuring device that will tell you how much power you're putting out while you're running. And I have decided that this is the best way for me personally to train. I like it because the data is always consistent.
Because a watt is a watt
and calorie is a calorie. So the more effort you put out, the more watts you're putting out. So if you go run up a hill, you're gonna put more watts out, which means you're running with more power. And if you run down a hill, you're gonna exert less watts because you've got gravity helping you going down that hill. Power is not affected by temperature, it's not affected by wind, it's not affected by heat, it's not affected by your heart rate, it's not affected by your pace. Like I said before, a watt is a watt and a calorie is a calorie. It is the most consistent and precise data, but I heed a word of caution with you guys when you do this. Make sure you get a proper power meter running tool. There are two forms on the market that I know about. You can get a power meter watch. I prefer the Chorus Pace 2. It gives me my heart rate, gives me my pace, my elevation gain, my elevation loss, and it gives me power. How much power I'm putting out instantaneously, and when I'm done with the run, what the average power output was for that entire run. And the other type is a company called Stride, and they have these things called running pods. And it's just like it sounds. It's little pods you put on your shoes, and when you go out and run, it just feels the exertion that's being pushed down into the ground, being pushed onto your legs. And that's another way you can measure power. Usually though, these pods will need a watch that is going to spit out the data for you. Now make sure you get an accurate watch if you decide to use power. Just like getting a power meter for bikes, power meters are not the most cheap thing. However though, if you are a serious runner or you seriously want to improve, whether it's biking or running, I highly recommend you invest in power because, like I keep saying, a watt is a watt, a calorie is a calorie. It doesn't matter if wind's pushing against you, you have to push harder to run against wind. Therefore, it'll tell you that you're running harder. Whereas if you are measuring yourself with pace and wind is pushing against you, your pace is probably going to slow down, but you're working harder because you're trying to maintain that same pace. This is why power works. This is why power gives you the best data. If you're going out and your goal is to run 200 watts, for the whole run and you got wind coming in your face, then you might actually have to slow down because you have to push a little harder against the headwind. Whereas if you turn around and run with the tailwind, you might have to run a little faster because the tailwind is helping you. You're not exerting as much. So those are the two ways you guys can get a power measuring device for your running abilities. Now, like I mentioned in other videos, I am a firm advocate and believer that 80% of your training needs to be done at an easy effort, and then 20% of your training needs to be a mix of moderate and very hard intensity. This ratio gives you enough time to recover to hit the hard workouts hard, and then your body adapts on the easy ones so they're ready to go even harder on the next hard workouts. But in order to figure out what 80% of our easy pace is gonna be, we need to figure out what our zones are. So the goal is to get 80% of our training easy, 20% of our training hard, but we need to figure out what is an easy zone, what is an easy power output I can maintain when I go out and train. Well, like other videos I've mentioned, there really is no easy way to say this. You need to go out and you need to run as hard as humanly possible. You need to go out and you need to see exactly how far or how much power you can put out in 30 minutes. You need to go out and figure out what that average power output is based on your weight and your effort level. Somebody that weighs 300 pounds is gonna have to exert a lot more power than somebody who's 150 pounds. It's just how it is. You weigh more, you gotta push more. That is one factor you need to keep in mind in order to keep your results accurate. Make sure you know what your weight is and don't cheat on this one. This is not the time to say you're 200 pounds when you're really 300 pounds because you're gonna get inaccurate numbers and you're gonna work way too easy or way too hard. But like I mentioned, so you put in your weight, you put in your height, you will go out, you will run as hard as you can for 30 minutes, and then when you're done with that, you will take the average output for those 30 minutes, and that is your functional threshold power. And the average of this is the top end of your zone 3 power. So it's as simple as that. And based on what your results are, you take that average number and you put it into this chart right here. Zone 1 is going to be 50% to 76% of your functional threshold power. Zone 2, 76 to 88%. Then we've got zone X, which means we're crossing in to where we're accumulating as much lactic acid as we're flushing it out. Zone X is 88 to 94%. Zone 3, 94 to 100%. Zone Y, now we're getting into a space where more lactic acid is coming in faster than we can push it out. Zone Y is 100 to 103%. Zone 4 is 103 to 120%. And then zone 5, yes, very intense, 120% and up. Zone 5 is no picnic. This is pretty much VO2 max training. This is going all out, shocking your muscles to adapt to this kind of training. So those are the 5 zones for power training. And like I mentioned earlier, power training is very consistent. If you're having a really, really bad day, you're struggling, it's probably because you went too hard on another workout. And you can easily measure this. You can look at power data from previous workouts. And the nice thing about power data is you can always treat every workout as if you're running on a track. Like I mentioned earlier, a watt is a watt and a calorie is a calorie.
How many times do I have to say this to you guys?
It doesn't matter if you're running up a hill, down a hill, into the wind, against the wind, on a hot day or a cold day. You can pretty much test anywhere, which is great. And it's ideal because if you live in a desert and you test in a desert, that is your normal running conditions. So all your training's probably going to be done at that same place. It's going to be done in that same environment. Just another bonus to when it comes to power. It's consistent, it's concise, and it's precise.
I made that up.
The only drawback to power is it's new, so it's not as accessible to people, and it's kind of expensive. Not going to beat around the bush on that one. But if you have the resources, the time, and the purchasing power available to you, and you are serious about improving your fitness, then I highly recommend you start using power to figure out your fitness level when it comes to running. Hopefully you guys like this video. Hopefully you guys think it's useful. If you guys want to see more videos about running, how to improve your fitness in running, you guys gotta comment down below. I don't know if you guys like this kind of stuff. Comment down below if you want to see more. If you guys want to see training videos, if you guys want to see training logs, training diaries, if you guys want to see thoughts on certain races. If you guys want to know anything about running, just comment down below.
It's not that hard.
It's one of the few subjects I'm very knowledgeable in, so I can definitely help you guys. As a high school and collegiate runner, I definitely know a few tricks, alright? Wrapping up the video here. If you guys liked it, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any other ideas, then yeah, drop a comment down below. Hope you liked it. I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.